So the first thing that said on the live stream was that, whatever that was. Hello, everybody.
They were trying to shoot me beer cans.
All right. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dynamic GT League's admin's announcement. Holly, you're live on camera.
You're live on YouTube.
As you can see, Ray's got his sponsorship images up. Steve F1 has got his porn headphones on. SGP has got his new sponsorship, and my t-shirt's up there. Right, okay, folks.
Why is it up there? Is it because it don't fit anymore?
No. I didn't want to put a t-shirt on, a DGT t-shirt on, because I didn't want to get it sweaty. You see, I like to keep them in decent condition. Okay, so it's really hot, it's really sweaty, and, excuse me, we've got one main thing to talk about, really. So, do we talk first, or do we just show them this little video?
Play the video.
Well, I suppose I should explain what the video's about first.
Doesn't the video do that?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay, right. The next championship in Dynamic GT League. Don't face that way, SGP. Otherwise, all we can hear is wind. Yeah. Right. The next championship is going to be a dirty championship in Dynamic GT League, which is the DGT DTCC. And yeah, so it's a dirty championship. However, on the recent reveal video, we did mention that it'll be a dirty championship like no other before it. So the video that is about to be played is going to give the information as to how it's different. So let's get ready and we'll show you that video. What you can do, you can push to pass, you can make contact with cars ahead to make them go wide or miss a corner so you can pass them. In this example, we're going to see the yellow car here bumping the orange car ahead, pushing them wide. The yellow car would be staying on the track, but here comes the gold car pushing them off track and going off track himself. You can't do is you can't just crash into cars at will when you would not have stayed on the track if you hadn't have hit them. You can only push to pass if you would have stayed on the track. Can do. On straights or bendy straights like a Red Bull Ring, you can bang doors and push cars around. Bunsel, you're gonna love this. Can't do though is you can't push cars off the track on the straights or the bendy straights. Yes, you can bang doors, but only to the edge of the track, and pit lanes are part of the track. What you can't do is on straights, you also can't pit manoeuvre other cars, this being front corner to rear corner contact to try and spin a car. just to confuse you, this is not a pit maneuver, this is just shit that happens in corners. So technically, there is no such thing as a pit maneuver in a corner. What you can do, in corners or on corner exits, you can run other cars wide and even off the track. You can even hit them off there as well. What you can't do though is you can't push cars off the track if you wouldn't have stayed on the track yourself. You must be trying to stay on the track. What you can do? Well, you can stay on the racetrack, that is your main objective. You can make mistakes and we can just try and have fun with it. What you can't do, you can't cut corners or extend the track. Normal DGT track limits apply, so it's a cleanish, dirty championship. What you can do, you can return to track however you want. There is no such thing as an unsafe return to track. What you can't do, you can't reverse at the start, you can't brake check at any time, you can't go the wrong way around, you can't lay in wait for a victim, and you can't get annoyed as someone hits you. Okay, and we're back. So, is there more beer on that shelf or less now? Okay, so some information has obviously been shown there. So what we'll say is, if anybody's got any questions about what you've just seen, feel free to put it in the YouTube comments and we'll get to them when we can. I do want to sort of discuss a few things about the Dirty Championship though, because I do know that someone, when they found out it was going to be a Dirty Championship, sort of questioned, oh, we're not doing another Dirty Championship, are we? So I guess the one question would be, why do a Dirty Championship? Now, the way I've thought about that is, given the cars that we've used recently, the Expo into the F1500, into the Super Formula, the only way you can really go to have a better car is more aerodynamics. And that's not what we wanted to do. Go on, knock it off. So to be able to go to a car that may not have as much aerodynamics, then you might need a palate cleanser. And there's no better palate cleanser than a Dirty Championship. The question then would be to SGP, who's more interested in his beer than talking, is why this car, why this type of championship, why different to the previous Dirties?
Sorry, what was the question? No, it's all right. So why this car? Why this kind
It
of
was said that a monkey could drive a Formula One car, but could a monkey drive today's Formula One car with all of the buttons?
Today is Formula One car, yeah. Right. This car is quite a solid car. I'm going to take a bit of a contact, a bit
Keep
of a
going.
whack. Yeah. But we were trying to aim for something a bit like old style touring car, British touring car. Hence the name DTCC. So Dirty Touring Car Championship. Yeah. Dave, hurry up back because I've run out.
Well, you could have asked your other two admins.
They're on mute.
He was as well. He wasn't. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are.
Go on then, Ray. What you got to add about this championship this car?
I can't remember what you said.
Well, we need a bit of a palate cleanser before we go
Yeah.
to do something else.
Because we've had other than Expo, we've had two high downforce cars, and there was an opportunity to go to another high downforce fast car, and some of the drivers and me myself aren't great with the fast high downforce cars, so put it towards the admins of changing it up, or else it might get too boring. Now you got something waggling at your fucking.
It's a nice lolly.
Alright.
And it was an
That's-
idea for a while, wasn't it? The British touring car format where rubbing is racing can shove each other a bit, and then it's just developed into one have it as a dirty style championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, without the kamikaze.
Style.
Yeah,
Well,
we
it's
don't want. I was
it's-
just about to say it's a bit more than a no kamikaze, isn't it?
yeah, because you can't cut corners. You can't extend the track. So the idea is that you stay on the road. But also, I mean, with the information that we've just shown a moment ago, it's one of those things where you can bump into people, you can bang into people, but on the straights, you can't just push people off the track. And the reason why we've brought that in is because it will just get frustrating if every time you get near someone or alongside someone, they do just push you off the track. It can be fun, but at the same time, it can get frustrating. Now, obviously, at the corners, go on.
Just want to say they can push you to the edge of the track, but they can't push you off it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
don't complain if the banging doors on straights.
Yes. And also, if there is banging doors, whereas we would normally say, excuse me, when you've had that first contact, you should then be moving apart from each other. Instead, you can get closer together if you want. Closer. It's a good job you weren't on mute for that. Now, someone then may say, well, why can you now smash people in the corners then? Well, that's part of the fun of it. I mean, when you say it's kind of touring car rules, it's more sort of late 80s, early 90s touring cars rules.
Old style touring.
Yeah. Like, yes, he's going for first. So, yes, you can hit people up the rear and hit them off the track and drive past them. But what you can't do is just hit them up the rear and end up going off the track yourself. Or, should I say, you can't just smash into people when you would have ended up off the road. But because you've hit them, you've stayed on the road. That's...
Yeah. So what you should be trying to do really is moving somebody gently out of the way to overtake them.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's like
probably
a push to pass, isn't it?
Yeah, push to pass, slightly edge them away a little bit just to try and create space. As they hit the brakes, you can hit them up the rear a little bit. As long as you're hitting the brakes and you would have stayed on track, you're not using them to keep you on the track.
Yeah.
That's what you've got to avoid doing.
No wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
But also something that we've not really mentioned too much before, really, is in this we've not discussed it as admin. It's just worth mentioning. In previous Dirty Championships, there's been no stewarding. In this, though, people may go, "Well, he hit me too hard, and he wouldn't have made that corner." What happens in that situation? Do they send in a report, or is it sent to the admins because it's a Dirty Championship?
Well, let's put it straight. There are no stewards for the Dirty Championships. There might be admins, but there ain't no stewards. So
send it to the page.
yeah, send it to a page where no one fucking read it. But no, I mean, it's one of those things, right? I mean, we've seen it in some of the previous Dirty Championships where people may think that someone's kamikazed them, but it's... I just see Richard's message. I thought it'd be a good idea. I'm kind of regretting it now, but it is a blackcurrant ice lolly in a blackcurrant drink, so it's not like I've put it in a beer or something. It is the same thing. Sorry, you put me off what I was saying. What was I saying?
Zipped your lollipop.
It's gone.
Right. Anyway, at this point, if anybody wants to write any more questions in, to ask questions about the upcoming championship, do so. Because do we want to jump on to something else
Well,
while we wait for some questions?
yes, we can. Okay, so for those people that are watching at the moment, while Ray is writing a message in response to I Blame the Beard, you're going to get a bit of a sneak preview here. Recently, DGT asked the drivers how much money they've got, not in real life, on the game. And now we're going to show you the reason why we asked. So, let me get it on. I nearly said let me get it up, but I didn't want to say that.
Let's get it on.
Yeah. Okay, so as you can now see on the screen, there's a bit of bodywork. There's a headlight. It's a car. Send it to the page. I just see. No one can see it though, Ray, because the video. It'll be there in a minute. So yeah. So yeah. So what we are showing at the moment is the car that is going to be used in the championship after the DTCC. And this is one of the reasons, again, why we're doing the Dirty Championship, is because we want to give you a palate cleanser. If we go from the Super Formula to this car will feel terrible. But this car is amazing to drive. It's unique. It's a road car. It's special. We're back on the screen, by the way. Actually, I've just realised I've just ended the video a bit short. Thinking of it. I might not. I can't remember. Oh, well. So, yeah. To be able... He's putting me off by continually changing his pictures. I tell you what, I'm going to put that video back on for anyone that didn't see it. Also, like I said, I may have ended it a bit early. So if we'd have gone for the Super Formula to this car would be a massive disappointment. So what we'd rather do is get people driving something completely different, doing something a bit different, a bit random, and then when we come to drive this car, it's going to give people the experience we are hoping that they need. You can't be on another one already. No one, viewers can't see it. Sorry, SGP's getting his beers back. So, anyone want to tell them what the car is, even though they've seen the pictures?
It's the Ford. The wrong page.
What's that? 1 second, you'll get it up. I don't know. If you're going to come forward with the information, at least have the information.
It's not
That's why I
been
kept quiet.
That's why I was quiet as well.
Now,
It was a Ford
been put in
GT
the
Ford.
page.
the thing,
There's
to be fair, I'll save you, Ray, because I did finish the video early, but having replayed it, all of the information is now on the screen. Okay, so I'll save you there, Ray. It is the GT40 Mark 1 1966, and its cost is 2.8 million. Which is why we asked all of the drivers how much money they've got, thinking that probably 90% of them are not going to have the money. Turns out they're all secret fluffies, and there's only one person that hasn't got enough money at the moment. But don't worry, Art Pal, we'll help you get there. But to be fair,
we're going to let him win the races.
no, true. But he may already have the car. And this is something for the other people. You may already have the car. Now, we could have just asked you, have you got this car? But where would the fun have been in that? Because you've all been guessing for the last week or so. But yeah, it is a car that we've driven. It's a road car. It sounds unique. It handles unique. The way it drives is unique. It sounds amazing. And when we do go to racing that, it will be a proper normal championship. Right, you're back on the screen now, boys.
Okay.
Oh, what?
Right, is there anything you want to say about that?
It's a nice car, isn't it?
That's nice.
That's nice.
The way we've got it set up at the moment is nice, but that may change over time. It depends on the more we test it and that, even though we have tested it a bit,
Yeah.
quite a bit actually.
Yeah,
We've
well,
got our ideas in line of what we want to try and an idea of what we want to achieve with it, and
Yeah.
but we don't want to say too much in case those ideas change. But yeah,
yeah. Or I mean, nothing's set in stone other than that is the car that will be used. You can ask us what settings we're going to have for it, and the answer is we don't know yet. So don't worry about it. All we wanted to do was let you know what the car is going to be, so that if you've got the money, you can buy it, or you can check if you've got it, and if you need to save up and get it. But because normally in DGT, if a car's going to cost $1 million, we'd give you a full season's notice. But dirty, with it being 2.8 million, we're giving people more than a season's notice. So,
really,
well, kind of.
a dirty championship notice.
Season, yeah. Art Pal's asking what tyres. We haven't decided yet. So don't worry. I mean, well, actually, no. You know what we could say at the moment is we tested it as standard on, I think, Sports Soft tyres. So standard power, standard weight, Sports Soft tyres. We didn't touch it in any way, shape, or form. At least not inappropriately.
And we are aware that it takes a long time to accelerate in first gear. That is just a unique part of that
car. Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yes. So yeah, but this is the thing, right? If people go and jump in that car to drive it now, you're not going to like it. I can tell you that for a fact. You won't like it because you've been driving the Super Formula. And that's why we're only telling you what the car is, so that you can get the money or get the car, and why we're doing the palette cleanser, because we don't want to go from the Super Formula to that car. It won't handle in any way, shape or form the way it can for you, because you're going from high aeros and a ton of grip to no aeros, and no matter how good that car is, it will feel terrible in comparison.
Dave,
Yes.
just a quick. Just going back to why we're doing the admin's announcement for a moment, just so we don't focus too much on the upcoming car. The DTCC and the rules and everything for that. We've got, I think, one question on it, not much, unless that's to do with the future championship.
Oh, you're on about the reverse the grid? With?
Well, no. Well, there's questions there that we could do with answering, but while we go through some of those questions, did you want to play a video, if you've got it available, of the car and the tracks, or was it pictures? I can't remember. The one that you attached to we put it out there and not many people saw it and went, what car?
Do you mean the reveal video?
Yeah. Can you play that while we answer questions? Is it possible to play that while we answer some of these questions?
Not at the same time. Yeah, because I'd have to mess up what we can see at the moment. I could play it and they couldn't hear us, or we could not play it. I mean, it'd be just as easy to answer some questions. I mean, for anyone, go on.
Okay.
What is it for? Like the tire and fuel, or just tires? Is that for the DTCC or the GT? Hey, I don't know which one they're asking questions on, because we've spoke about the two.
Yeah, quite
Maybe I should
possible.
ask.
Yeah, clarify which ones you're on about, guys.
Well,
Take the piss out of our beard. I could have called you something worse.
Well,
or any
guys,
questions
I'll go through the information. You shut the fuck up. I'll go through the information of the.
I think Steve F1 needs to shut up.
Well, I know he's
earache.
He's too busy on grinders, swiping left and right. So the DTCC information: Group 4 Intensa, 4-wheel drive, 350 foot. What? That's wrong.
Come on, you can't read.
Brake horsepower. 938 kilograms minimum weight. Boost is strong. Slipstream will be strong too. Damage, that's something we never mentioned, would be light. So you will get damage, but it will repair over time.
It
Uh,
prepares quickly-ish.
Tyres will be tyre sport soft. Tyre wear will be off and fuel wear will be off. There'll be a 5-minute qualifying at race 1. Race 2 and onwards, previous race order, 15-minute races. We do have the list of tracks, but I'd rather reveal them in picture mode.
Yeah, that's fine. So in summary, I mean, it looks like the questions were more about the GT40, but I kind of expected that.
Well, what I can say on that is, I don't think if any questions that come up with the GT40 at this moment in time, I don't think we should answer because the subject.
Well, we can't. We can't answer them.
We can't answer them. So try and focus more on the DTCC. If you've got questions on that, throw them at us. We've got something else to talk about.
There is, but I think we can get to that in a moment.
Richard saying we should have spoken about this before the stream rather than putting it on people on the spot. No, we like getting put on the spot.
Yeah.
Don't
we, Steve F1?
That's
Yeah.
Dave's
The more videos
Right.
are better, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Hey, we're on
Steve
time
F1.
today. Stop whinging.
Steve F1.
Who
You
was
can
late
go
today?
through the next part.
What's next?
What's next? Right,
I know
before
what's next.
hang
I know
on.
what's next, but
Bef-
I don't know.
yeah, before we move on to that, let's just clarify a couple of things. I just want to make sure we clarify a couple of things. So, with the DTCC, if there anyone that is unsure of what the differences are from a normal Dirty Championship to what we've shown today, we can make that video available for people. It's fairly self-explanatory. It's a cleanish Dirty Championship. Your aim is to stay on the track, but you can hit people at the same time. Okay, there's a few rules. You don't have to worry about your tyres. You don't have to worry about your fuel and everything. The big difference is going to be the race results set in the grid orders. There's not going to be any reversing of grid or anything like that. Now, the car that we're using, it's a fun car to drive. It's 4-wheel drive, so it's really, really stable. So it'll be interesting to see how we get on with that. Anyone?
As well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it took ages to pit maneuver people when we were doing that video.
But you're not supposed to pit maneuver people.
No, well, yes, that is true.
That was
SGP,
what not
no
to
pit
do.
manoeuvring.
Yeah, yeah. Now, it's one of those things as well where the plan is to do race videos for them, but they're going to be very, very basic videos, especially when there's 2 races in a night. Okay, if anybody does have any questions about the DTCC, feel free to put them in the chat on YouTube now. We can always come back to it. But we are going to move on to another topic of conversation, which Steve F1 is going to tell us all about.
So would that be about Thursday's postponement? And
No.
why that was?
No.
That's the only other topic on the agenda.
it is. I'm winding you up.
Yeah. So it's like, well, why did we postpone Thursday's race?
Well, yeah, go on then.
It's yeah. Well, I think it's mainly because we feel like if the numbers drop below I think it's like a threshold of about 11. Once it gets down to 10, suddenly the boost becomes a bit more significant, let's say, in the way, because obviously the boost is there for a reason and it works really well. It's there to keep everyone in the race. If you have spins or are struggling, you can catch back up. That's why it's there, and it's proven itself over the years. We've kept the numbers up. The only thing is when it gets down to 9 or 10, and we notice this when we do the Monday races, is the boost becomes more than just a catching up mechanism. It's sort of so when you have a full lobby, it kind of, the boost goes down to about 6th place, I would say, where it's significant. You have the pack battles, but once it comes down below 11, it kind of, the boost goes all the way up to about 4th, and it's not the difference between the car in 4th and 5th is massive in terms of the boost. So there's literally nothing the 4th place car can do. It's almost like the 5th place car has extra horsepower and can just drive past. So it's like we saw it in Thursday's race, for example, where the top three were able to just break 10 seconds down the road because the fourth place car is always battling and there's nothing they can do about it. So it feels like, when you've got 9 or 10, it just feels like the boost becomes an overtaking aid as well as a catching up mechanism, and it kind of spreads the field out more than it probably would when you've got more cars. So the racing I don't find is as good when you've got the smaller numbers.
Well, here's a question for you then. If there's less than 10, why not take boost off?
Because I think that wouldn't be fair as well. Because obviously, when the boost is like that, it's probably unfair on the faster drivers. But if you take the boost off, it's unfair on the drivers that might need it, and then they're more likely to pull out. So it's more about having a system that's fair for everybody. Because obviously, DGT is welcome to everybody, isn't it, of all abilities, and that's why we have boost on. Everyone's welcome basically. So yeah, boost
almost
off.
everybody.
Yeah.
Almost everybody.
Yeah, almost everyone. But boost off is not an option. Basically, that's not. We've always said that, haven't we? The boost is always going to be on for the normal league races because that it is part of DNA of the league, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you want to add to that, Ray?
No. We did have the vote system in place when there was nine of us, and
Do you want to explain that for anyone that doesn't know what you're talking about?
so there was 9 of us on in the lobby, and we gave it to a driver's vote because due to the boost part of it and how many drivers were on track. So we gave that we gave it a vote, and we went down the list of drivers, and there was a thing that I don't think I was at the last race that was low numbers, but there was a thing that one of the admins said, I don't know if it was SGP or Steve F1, that said that when they were doing the video of that last race that it happened, that they thought it was a bad idea of letting the race go ahead. So that kind of sealed it for some of the drivers with his comment of not to go ahead with the race. Because if admins already spoke about it, maybe not in big detail, but spoke about it, and it puts that slight, what's the word I'm looking for? Doubt on proceeding with the race, then I think it should be fair that it was cancelled the way it was, and people said. Yeah.
Well, I suppose for anyone that doesn't know the procedure of it, basically, I mean, in DGT League, we can have up to 16 people on track. And we decided some time ago that there would have to be a number where if we got only that amount of drivers, we couldn't do the race. It would be daft. Now, we've gone off 10, 10 being just a bit more than 50% of the grid. So if there's 10 drivers, we'll race. If there's 9 drivers in the past, we've put it to a vote to all the drivers that are there, do you want to race or not? And in previous occasions, it's only happened like 2 or 3 times, the races have gone ahead. All the drivers have agreed to race. A bit like you, Ray, I can't remember what the conversation was. Oh, Jesus, that looks like you sat on his knee. Yeah, I can't remember what the conversation was, but I do remember there being well, yeah. And you know what, that looks like Adam Sandler with a ventriloquist dummy. So yeah, I can't remember exactly what was said, but yeah, I think it might have been to do with how the video looked, or as well as like how powerful the boost is with only 9. Now, if there was ever less than 9, there would be no vote. It'd just, it'd be postponed.
9's so close to 10. That was it. I mean, 10 we were going to go ahead with the race. 9 is close, so let's give everyone a chance to vote. But having raced with that number previously, there was drivers that experienced it that decided it probably wasn't going to be
Yeah.
an enjoyable experience for everybody taking part.
I mean, everybody got to have their vote, apart from Connor. But it didn't matter by that point. Once we'd got one
He did vote
afterwards, yeah. I mean, once we'd got one vote a no, that's enough to not go ahead with it. I mean, I know me personally, I said, yeah, let's race. But that's because I was simply of the opinion that it negatively affects the faster people, of which I'm one of. So if it means people are closer to me, I'm okay with that. But in hindsight, afterwards, I did say I think we did the right thing.
I think we did the right thing. I said race. The only reason why I said race is because I had a dead leg, and I didn't want to say don't race. For people to say, well, you'd say that because you want to race when you're fully fit.
Yeah. The thing is, though, it's massively frustrating for those people that have busier lives than others, perhaps, and are going out of their way to set the time aside on a Thursday to race, when others haven't been able to let us, or haven't let us know that they wouldn't have been able to make it. Because I suppose the frustration for some might be that had 2 or 3 other people actually let us know they weren't going to make it, we could have let people know very early, look guys, we ain't got the numbers tonight. But by the time we found out, obviously it became very late. But it's one of those things. I mean, frustratingly, on GT Sport, you can't set it so that the boost is the same. Like, if the boost is what it is for a 16 car grid, it'd be nice to be able to have that setting if there's less cars on the grid. So if there's only 9, it's the same amount of boost that you'd have if there was 16. At least then that would be a little bit more representative. Now,
so if you was in 9th place with 16 people, you get the same place as if you're in 9th place with only 9.
yeah,
Whereas at the minute, if you're in 9th place, you get the same amount of boost as what somebody in 16th.
16th would, and that's massive.
And that's the problem, because you could end up pitting and coming out 9th and having 2 laps of boost like you would have if you was in 16th.
Yeah.
So it's a bit ridiculous, really.
It is, yeah. Now, whether that can be changed on GT7, I've no idea. Does it mean we'll turn boost off? No, it won't, because at the end of the day, with the boost, it keeps everybody involved, regardless of what happens. I mean, look at Fluffy recently. He said, I think I might give up here. I'm about to get lapped. And by the end, I think he was only like 8 seconds off the leader. And that, again, is a good example of why the boost is there.
Boost is not an issue on GT7 at the moment with 9 cars.
All right, okay.
Doesn't work at all.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, is that because boost doesn't work? Yeah,
It's no boost at all.
yeah. For anyone that doesn't know and thinks he's taking the piss, no, seriously, boost does not work. The option is there, but you turn it on, it don't do nothing. Now,
unless it does, but we've not had enough people in a lobby to experience boost.
well, you say that
I've seen
though.
other leagues that have mentioned it as well, though. Other leagues have said they use boost and can't use it, and it's annoying.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, when we had, I think 4 of us driving, I mean, yeah, it was clear that, well, at least it felt like there weren't any boosts. I do want to mention, though, that, I mean, for the most part, I think drivers were able to inform us that they weren't able to make it. There were some that didn't inform us. Whatever that 90s song was. But yeah, I mean, what do we say to those that didn't let us know? Or what do we say to those who say, go on a recruitment drive and bring in new guys? Bring in more drivers?
We did get a couple in, didn't we? But we never had them again. We did at some point have 2 or 3 reserves, didn't we? But
when you got Ray saying there's only one evil Scotsman in here, there's no surprise one of them disappeared.
No, yeah, we could maybe look at getting, but because we are kind of family at this moment in time, like, we're here for each other and we're friends.
We are family.
Yeah, but we know how each other is, and then when you bring somebody else in, and
They've got to
trying,
click.
yeah, they've got to click. If they don't click, then
Yeah.
there's no point in them being there because they just get hammered or not by racing, but by ours. Like
It's difficult to have
everybody,
banter with someone you
yeah,
don't know.
everybody in this league that we race in has a sense of humour that's progressed from the start of Dynamic GT League. So we know how everybody is, except for that cunt here. We know how everybody is.
Fucking hell. I'll stick up for you, hey. Fucking hell, that's shocking, Raymond.
I'm only kidding.
Although saying that, Hey didn't let us know we weren't fucking racing last Thursday.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, no, it's your fault.
Yeah.
No, but
If Hey had been
Yeah,
there, we'd have had a race.
But we could easily go on a recruitment drive, like, and I could boost the posts of the page and that. But we don't want to be overwhelmed, and plus, you've got to have the guys doing a couple of weeks on Monday nights with us. Sometimes, I think that deters them as well because we don't let people straight into the league.
Yeah.
They've got to get used to how everybody in the league drives near enough and the banter. And
it would be easier for every driver that is in the league if they knew somebody that uses the game, likes the game and enjoys it, to see if they want to join the league.
Yeah.
Or invite
Or
them to a Monday night session.
Come and join us on Mondays for some random races and shit.
Get them to send a message to the page saying, I'm a friend of Hayes, and then we can tell them where to go.
Fuck off. I'm joking.
No, Hayes got no friends, don't worry.
Oh, no. Don't pick on him.
We're allowed to pick on him because he didn't say.
Hang on, 1, 2, 3. You ain't got no friends other than those 9 beer cans behind you.
You've made me lose my train of thought now.
I know I have, yeah.
We're allowed to pick on Hay because he didn't say he wasn't coming
Yes.
last week.
All right, okay, fair enough.
That's why we're picking
I
on Hay.
wouldn't want to know if he's coming.
Well,
Yeah. That was probably the problem. He probably was coming.
yeah.
All right. But if somebody knows somebody that plays the game, enjoys the game, it doesn't matter how good they are because we use the boost system. We can also help them progress with the game and with their driving on a Monday night, and with the videos that Dave does for us. Just get them involved, and we'd rather have somebody come through as a friend of a friend rather than us just
picking up randoms.
Because one of the things that we could do, is go doing loads of daily races and keep putting out, do you want to join a league? Do you want to join a league? Getting people come, and then you find out they're 12 years old, and they go, "Mum, can I have a sandwich?" So,
Access League is quite different to others, isn't it? It's not just a league; it's a community. It's a group of friends, isn't it? So it takes longer to integrate a new person than it would in another league because of that.
It does. Also, I wouldn't want anyone to feel like they were being squeezed out by bringing someone else in. So, for example, Bunsell let us know recently that he may not be able to be on for a while. And it'd be easier for us to go, well, let's go and find someone to take his spot for a few months. Well, if Bunsell then comes back, what's that person going to feel like if we say, right, well, Bunsell's back now, he gets his seat back? Bit awkward. But I understand people thinking about reserve drivers and stuff like that. Yeah, but that's where Steve was saying, it is easier if it's sort of friends of friends. I mean, we put up with Jimmy because he knows Rich. And I'm only Jimmy. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. But I'm only saying that about Jimmy because he also didn't let us know that he was going to watch golf instead of come racing. But
even though he promised me the previous week that he would be coming this week.
Bloody hell.
Turn up on Thursday and go, where's the lobby?
Well,
what do you mean you don't blame him?
Going to watch golf sounded good.
It was a good event. It was a good event. Some cracking weather. There's a beach there as well.
Guys, you're supposed to be putting amateur team forward, not
Sorry,
fucking
yeah.
golf.
Well, I could say something, but
SJP, where did we find these admins?
I can't believe a Scotsman's telling people not to get to Scotland.
I know, yeah.
Don't
Well,
go to Scotland. It's
yeah.
a shithole.
Don't come to Scotland. The beer is ours. But yeah, so yeah. The thing is, it's kind of a catch-22. It's like with Mitch, for example. Mitch's seat is his still. If at any point he says, "Look, guys, I'm not going to be coming back," fair enough. Or if we have to get to a point where we have the conversation and say, "Right, what do we do?" Then that's where we would potentially make contact with Mitch and say, "All right, mate, is everything all right? Are you going to be coming back? Whatever," and we go from there. I mean, he put his livery in for this championship that we're in at the moment, so it's not like he's not been in touch at any point. And we knew for a while that he may or may not be available for races. So, although some people may think that, oh, he hasn't let us know, to be honest, he has let us know. He did say if he can make the races, he'll turn up. So that's a very different situation to someone that we're perhaps expecting to be there. Yeah.
It's like Bunstall now has said because he's moving, it's very unlikely that he'll
be able to get on for a little while. Yeah. But also, I mean, Jason was unlucky. I mean, the irony of a pilot being stuck in an airport and couldn't get home. But yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things. Had Jason been able to get back, would have had a race. Had Hay been able to get back, would have had a race. Or Bunstall, if he'd have had the time, yeah. I mean, look, Bunstall's been going through a lot recently, to be fair, so has Hay and so has everybody else. But yeah.
A lot of beers.
Yeah, true. I mean, what I would say, though, is I would just like...
That's right, because he was drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, that is true, wasn't it? Yeah. But I forgot what I was going to say now. Yeah, I think the main thing is just, if you can't make the race, guys, let us know as early as possible. It only takes a few seconds to drop a message to let us know, and then we can be prepared. I mean, one thing I will say though is, I mean, go on.
To the page, not to everybody here.
Yeah, no. Lost in translation.
Yeah.
Not only that, if say it should be sent to the page, because if, for instance, I've sent a message to the page to say I've got family reasons why I can't make tonight. It could be I'm in hospital or my kids are in hospital. My phone might be switched off. Someone messages me saying they can't make it. The other admins
we won't know.
Yeah. Whereas if they send it to the page, all the admins get it.
See, a lot of people might think that when we take the piss saying send it to the page, it might be us just taking the piss or being awkward about it. But the actual reason we say send it to the page is because we have a process where one person deals with the incoming messages and lets everybody else know if there's anything important that we all need to be aware of. And if that person can't deal with the messages, then the others will be made aware of it and they can look. So basically, send it to the page and then we will know eventually when Ray's woken up. But if you, just like Steve said, if you send it to one of us and we don't pass the message on, the others won't know. So, I mean, it's the same for us. I know when Ray has not been able to race recently, he's sent a message to the page so that we'd all know.
It's easier as well on a Thursday night to have a look on the messages that are coming at the page to see who's not coming.
Yes.
Rather than 4 of us having to look at 4 private messages through however messages that other person's had privately as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, another example of that is I put a message in the chat earlier regarding someone's wedding this week. I don't want to say too much in case he's listening. But I did put a message in.
Not going to be racing much longer either.
Well, I think you'll be all right. Oh, yeah. Maybe that's what I should have got him, a big thumbprint. But no, so I put a message in the DGT drivers chat earlier today. If you haven't seen it, guys, go and take a look. Connor, if you're listening and wondering what it is, don't worry about it.
Getting added.
Yeah, not at all, not yet. But yeah, so guys, go and check out that message, because if you haven't seen it, it's now taken for us to say, go and have a look. So think about, if you put a message in that chat saying, sorry guys, I can't make it tonight, Well, we might not see it. So, but if you send it to the page, it will be seen. Rich has put that if you can't make the race, let Ray know.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Not far wrong.
Yeah.
Apart from if he's a sim.
Well, yeah.
Sending it to pages,
Is sending it to Ray, yeah. But I mean, it's the same though with the stewarding stuff. I mean, we joke saying send it to the page, but again, reason we say send it to the page is because then it will get dealt with. If you send it to just one of us, we're going to tell you to send it to the page because that way all of the admins can be aware of whatever has been reported, whether it be on the racing games or something external. So yeah, right. Is there anything else that we go on?
I would say with send it to the page, I know that it tends to be one of us that looks at it. If that one person is unavailable, like Ray was with moving house,
Yeah.
somebody else steps in and looks at those messages. So it's not, if it gets sent there, it will be seen.
Yes.
That's the main thing. So yeah, send it to the page. Right. Anyway, go on.
But random questions, like now you could send it to the page if you want, just to make Ray just go and send a load of messages to the page so that Ray's got something to do tonight.
Yeah, it'll be barred.
Yeah. So there's always a bar with you, Ray. Right. Is there anything else that we wanted to cover while we're here, or is there anything else that any of the drivers or viewers wanted to put to us or ask us?
While we're waiting for them to think about that, pop that video up that I mentioned.
I'll need a minute. Okay, now
That's fine.
put me on the spot.
If I put you on the spot, I mentioned it about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I didn't say I'd do it.
I'll play the first video again.
Uh,
'Cause some people may be watching now live that wasn't watching it at the start.
Are you on about the video that I've already played?
The DTCC one, yeah. Because somebody might have joined late and not seen it and got a question on it.
Oh, that's the... no, it's not on there. Okay, I can pop that up, but no one will be able to hear as well. That's happened. Hey, I'm planned, Rich. It's them that don't plan. Oh, actually, you know what? I have just thought... Sorry.
What is Naj? What does that mean, Naj?
I think that means okay.
Naj?
Is it from Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or did you see the nice?
No,
or
it
okay?
means nice. Like with the
Yeah,
hot
yeah.
weather, nice. I would guess.
That's
Even
what I
nice.
would have guessed. Yeah.
He's replying to about.
By the way,
about questions, and he's just put.
By the way, I've not started this video yet, so everyone can still hear you
Yeah,
waffling.
you played the wrong video.
I did, yes. Right, I'm going to play this video, right? Yeah, they're not going to be able to hear us while it's on. So give us a few moments, guys. What you can do, you can push to pass, you can make contact with cars ahead to make them go wide or miss a corner so you can pass them. In this example, we're going to see the yellow car here bumping the orange car ahead, pushing them wide. The yellow car would be staying on the track, but here comes the gold car, pushing him off track and going off track himself. You can't do is you can't just crash into cars at will when you would not have stayed on the track if you hadn't have hit them. You can only push to pass if you would have stayed on the track. Can do. On straights or bendy straights like a Red Bull Ring, you can bang doors and push cars around. Bunsel, you're gonna love this. do, though, is you can't push cars off the track on the straights or the bendy straights. Yes, you can bang doors, but only to the edge of the track, and pit lanes are part of the track. What you can't do is on straights, you also can't pit manoeuvre other cars, this being front corner to rear corner contact to try and spin a car. Just to confuse you, this is not a pit manoeuvre, this is just shit that happens in corners. So technically, there is no such thing as a pit manoeuvre in a corner. What you can do, in corners or on corner exits, you can run other cars wide and even off the track. You can even hit them off there as well. What you can't do, though, is you can't push cars off the track if you wouldn't have stayed on the track yourself. You must be trying to stay on the track. What you can do? Well, you can stay on the racetrack, that is your main objective. You can make mistakes and we can just try and have fun with it. What you can't do, you can't cut corners or extend the track. Normal DGT track limits apply, so it's a cleanish, dirty championship. What you can do, you can return to track however you want. There is no such thing as an unsafe return to track. What you can't do, you can't reverse at the start, you can't brake check at any time, you can't go the wrong way around, you can't lane wait for a victim, and you can't get annoyed as someone hits you. And we're back. So, gave us a chance to grab a drink. Is there anything else that you guys want to discuss? We've not had any questions come in, which either means that we've answered all the questions that anybody may have, or we've ignored all the questions that the people have given, because we don't have the answers to those questions if it's to do with the GT40 yet. I do want to sort of put something to you guys, though, quickly, which is... okay, couple of things. Rich Blues did say, but we still had fun afterwards on Thursday, so what does it matter? And I think that's a good comment, right? Having been someone that has taken racing very seriously in the past, I don't want to go down that route again. I like the relaxed, fun nature of what we do. I mean, let's put it this way. When we started, we weren't even going to do race videos. It wasn't about putting on a show. It wasn't about really scoring points. It was just about getting together and having races and having a laugh. but we like doing the videos and people like watching the videos, and it is good to have those things. But like Rich said, okay, we weren't able to do the race, but the races, what we did do instead that evening was still good fun. I mean, it's like we wouldn't. Well, maybe we could do the cops as a league event sometime. For you laugh like no one can hear you. But maybe we could. Maybe we could have like three people that have got to do laps while the rest have got to try and stop them. How we'd video that, I ain't got a fucking clue. But why couldn't we do something weird and random like that? Because at the end of the day, we have that freedom to do that. So I understand that people may get frustrated at times, definitely when we can't do the races that we were due to do. But at the same time, we can still have a good laugh while we do whatever it is we do.
It'd have to be a dirty championship, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Have to be how many laps can you do?
Yeah. It might not be. It might have to be time.
Or maybe it'd be, can you last 40 minutes?
Oh, fucking hell.
Jeez.
Well, I think Connor would have won that one.
Each week, you have different cops and robbers.
Oh dear. Now, if anyone has no idea what we're talking about, feel free to go onto my YouTube channel, Demon Red Mist. I think it is. I think that's my channel. For the video that I did on Thursday instead of the live stream of the race, it's actually called DGT Race 6 Postponement, I think. I videoed what we did instead, and to be honest, we had a right good laugh. And at the end of the day, that is all that really matters. Okay.
If anybody has any ideas for dirty races, dirty championships, or clean championships, or just something for a random fun night, send it to the page.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, people will come to us on occasion with ideas, and we may sort of shoot it down straight away through prior knowledge. But take, for example, we've said again today, we won't do a league event without Boost. But having said that, we did agree to doing the Arc last season, and we're expecting to do it again at the end of this year. So it's a way of going, look, we're not going to have no Boost races, but you know what? Once a year, with potentially a car we've already used or something, go for it. Right, Rich says, I've got an idea for a championship, and what do we say to that, guys? Send it to Paige! But no, feel free to put your comment in. But yeah, so yeah, don't be afraid of, if you've got ideas, of putting them forward. Sometimes we'll shoot them down. Sometimes we will think about it. I mean, and just to put into perspective how much we do consider people's opinions at times, we've announced to those watching this that we're going to be using the Ford GT40 in the championship after the DTCC, but that's not what was going to be used. We were going to be using something completely different, something with a lot more... No, something with a lot more downforce, though, than what we've currently used. But some muppet had the idea of bringing it to our attention that we've been in a few high downforce cars already. Do we want to do that again? And after a bit of time thinking about it, the answer was, you know what, you muppet, you're right. Isn't that right, Ray?
Yeah, Steve F1,
yeah. But yeah,
on the quiet guy.
Yeah. So we had.
It was a good point. It was a good point, to be fair.
Yeah,
couldn't argue with it.
No. So yeah, and so we listened and we looked, and yeah, we then checked a load of other things we could do, and now we know you're all minted. Get ready for some more expensive cars in the near future. So yeah. Right, well, by that lack of silence, I think we've probably just about covered everything that we need to. Actually, no, you know what? there is one more thing I do want to mention, which is to do with Demon Tweaks. I don't know if everybody is aware of the slight misunderstanding that there was with Demon Tweaks, so I shall explain it to everybody now. When I put in the application for the sponsorship for Demon Tweaks, I put it in under the DGT banner, under the DGT name. And they accepted the sponsorship. Turns out, though, that they don't sponsor entities, but they do sponsor drivers. And what they did say was that if our drivers want to send in applications to be sponsored by them, they're more than willing to receive those and reply to those and accept those. Now, what we've been able to do so far is, so that's the initial sponsorship is for me, but what I've done is shared that information with everybody. If you do want the link, then I can pass that on again. I'm sure I put it in the chat the other day as well. But also you'll notice on the race videos and in the descriptions recently, it doesn't say Demon R sponsored by, it says DGT Drivers sponsored by Demon Tweaks. So there we go. That's the information on that one. Anything else, guys?
After sure.
Okay.
Steve F1, anything else? He's
No,
having
I'm good.
smoke all night.
Mm.
He's just sat there and
Yeah, just chilled out. Yeah.
It's been alright, Kimi Räikkönen, hasn't he?
yeah.
Rich says, take my sponsorship off the car. I feel dirty. What, is it dirty money, Rich? Is Rich Coin dirty money now?
What, Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's you get that in Holland, right? For anyone that also doesn't know, obviously we are not going to be racing this coming week. This week we're in now. Don't panic, folks. It's not because of low number, but it is because of low numbers. It's because somebody's getting someone's getting married this week, and a few of us are going to go and witness it and check if it's really something they want to do.
Whether he's actually got a woman that likes him.
We might have to ask her if are you sure this is what you want to do.
I'm still looking at my fucking post, cunt.
Yeah, don't worry, you don't know it, Ray, but you've got him a gift. But anyway, so there's not going to be a race this week or a race video this week, which means as well there's probably not going to be a G-Spot this coming week. They're all, as far as I'm aware, we're also not going to be, we're not planning on going online straight after finishing this live stream. It's simply way too hot. At least it is for me. It's 35 degrees in here. I'm not up for doing that, and I think it's pretty much the same for these three.
Yeah, my nads are stuck to my thighs.
I thought he was going to say stuck to your fanny. But and the last thing I want to mention is that you know, like when you go places sometimes, or you know, like Gary, the amount of times. No, you know, like Gary, the amount of times that Gary has sent us like images of stuff that's got Whitworths on, like seeing your name in places.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was in Sainsbury's earlier today, and I could have sworn I saw your name, Ray, on a loaf of bread. Yeah,
What?
yeah. And then I realised it said thick cut.
You
And
on that bombshell, I think we should end it.
Yeah. Right. If anybody does have any questions, send them to the page. Have a good, everybody.